Welcome to day 21 of our 30 days of PM journey. We've been going through a lot of topics related to product management and things related to daily tasks in a sense of what a product manager does, right? Uh, I mean, the amount of roles and responsibilities a product manager has are multifold, right? You are responsible for the product, looking at relationships, managing stakeholders, meeting expectations of customers, communicating, interviewing, following up with them on meetings, and talking to internal stakeholders, and driving the business value and also product growth along the way, right? So a lot of the times when building features as your organization and as your product grows and matures, you track data from multiple sources of them. You track at user engagement, you look at the number of visits to a particular page, the the power users, the users that need help in onboarding, and a lot of metrics and a lot of onboarding practices start to take shape, right? So as a PM, you have multiple features, right? For example, let's take a scenario. As a PM, you are in charge of managing a particular website, right? The website can be the subscription page or the page where uh, essentially users sign up or purchase or subscribe to uh, using your product, right? You see a lot of growth in the recent month on your product. The user count has grown, the amount of visitors increased, but for some reason on the subscription and the payment page you see a lot of drop-offs, right? So the drop-offs can be either the users don't really want to purchase the product right now, or they are missing some information, or you need to update uh, the payments option or redesign the feature, right? So how do you go about doing it as a PM? You look at the data, but the data is not really obvious in this scenario, right? You have the data on who is visiting, when they are visiting, why they are visiting. Some context around that, but not really a good sense of understanding of why they are dropping off, right? So you try to run an experiment, but to run an experiment is not really easy or straightforward because there might be changes which existing users might not be happy with, right? Let's take an example of adding a new section within, for example, a page of your platform, right? You are trying to introduce a new menu or a new section within your website, but you want to first look at how much impact that really generates, right? Or if it can help drive a certain metric forward or increase the metrics count. You are In this case we are looking at conversion rate, so we are trying to improve the conversion rate by tweaking the website and the interface of the website, right? So you can have different layouts of the pricing page, or different buttons being added and removed where users can request for demo, start a trial, but also talk to or contact sales, right? So you want to now test this scenario, so you use this thing called an A/B testing. A/B testing is just the framework or the way of where you can test A versus B. The name typically tells about it, but it's a way to test things out for a specific user set and understand which version or which change introduced drives growth in a specific product metric that you are trying, right? So in this case we are tracking for and looking at engagement and also conversion rate. So you have like a customer base of 1,000 users. You show 500 of them version A of the page and other 500 version B of your product, right? And over a large period of time, it's important to have like a larger data set to make the decision, right? It will help you make a decision as to what needs to be picked and what needs to be chosen for eventually being part of the page or the end screen to drive conversions, right? Because once you have started the A/B testing, you can look at data and you can look at analytics on which performs better and make the call from there, right? So A/B testing helps in making such decisions, right? These are not really very broad and very big changes that you're trying to introduce. These are more to understand user behavior when some specific sections of the platform are being added or subtracted or moved or replaced, right? So it helps you make these smaller decisions which can have impact on your metrics. So that's essentially the use of product doing A/B testing on your products. But a simple example would be, for example, you have this is the example of Duolingo and how they used A/B testing to improve their user. I mean the product in essence, right? So they had a screen where users can save progress and gave them two options in both of their testing. Test A had the ability to save progress by creating a profile or discarding their progress, right? So everything goes to zero. Or they had an option to create profile or create save the progress by creating profile or do this later, right? You might think probably the second one does I mean is probably more helpful, but it's important to understand why is the user clicking on later as well, right? So or why the user wants to discard their progress and not really save their progress by creating a profile. So uh, Duolingo wanted to test this is how they did it. They built two versions of the same page and tested it against one or the other, and then eventually made their decision of which needs to be shown to most of their customers. A lot of the times when rolling out features or broad feature designs, for example a whole redesign of your application, you want to flag it and only enable it for a certain set of users you want to test it against. So that's more on the adoption and validation side of things. But once it's available to all, and you for example now want to see the behavior between the older version and the newer version for certain audience, right? So you can have like a quick early adopters program where a few users get to see the newer version and the others get to see the older version, and you can compare of how it did, if the newer design did actually help improve some metrics or help improve adoption or engagement within the platform, right? So these are a few ways of simple ways of A/B testing, looking at data from past and present, and seeing what really improved and how uh, for example a section and its rework can improve the platform and drive growth, right? So this essentially is how A/B testing is used. You use it in multiple scenarios. The easiest one when it comes to YouTube for reference, right? YouTube thumbnails are get A/B tested a lot. So in order to drive engagement and improve the click-through rate of watching videos, a lot of YouTubers do A/B testing of their thumbnail. So a certain expression within the thumbnail or a specific text format or does better over the other. So if for example you create like five scenarios or five variations of thumbnails for a single video, and over time, for example, you start with one thumbnail, you don't really see engagement, so you try to put the other one on top, replace that with a different one, and start to see some growth and some click-through rate improvement, and then iterate and change the thumbnails accordingly, right? So this is the simplest example when it comes to YouTube, but you do this in multiple scenarios. You could do this in the sense of email marketing, having two different templates for the same email and sending one for a specific user base and the other for a different user base, and tracking growth. But a lot of the times, so email marketing is one, online publication, business application, consumer or e-commerce site, as we talked, right? Trying to look at how you can improve churn rate and things like that. So a lot of the times these A/B tests are catered towards a specific metric and looking at analytics for a specific metric and how that can be improved, right? So it helps you make decisions, but these are micro decisions when it comes to product management, right? A lot of the times you are probably just making bets on these platforms or on these sections that are being introduced. So if you have the time and the resources to test things out and actually back your decisions by data, A/B testing is a great way to go about it, right? So, and these A/B tests are essentially done on pop-ups. These are done on banners, sections, segments within your platform, and images that are being displayed in case of YouTube, right? So these are a few reasons and ways that you perform A/B test on a specific user base. How you can perform this: you define a goal and a criteria that you are trying to test for and achieve. Look at current data, existing data, come up with a reasoning and hypothesis of what you want to test, and what eventually based on your assumption, what do you feel like is a valid success criteria for a specific metric to be hit such that you can adopt one over the other, right? Perform the A/B test, look at repeat it sometimes with different personas. So if you have 200 users, you split them in half, one doing A and the other using B, and over time you try to switch them where B uses first version and A uses the second version, and see how over time across versions how users perform. There's a lot of data manipulation and data modeling that you can do and understand behavior and make decisions, right? So there are multiple tools in the market that can do this. You can use Hotjar, that does heat map and also does A/B testing. Amplitude Experiment is other examples. You have Vivo, VWO is another tool, but you have multiple tools in the market that can do this, right? You just have to embed the snippet JavaScript code within your application, and over time you can track and build these A/B testing scenarios to test and make and drive decisions for, right? So here is another such scenario where just increasing the size of the button does X or Y, or improve X or decreases Y metric that you want to take action on, right? So this is about A/B testing. But the other thing, as I've been telling user, these A/B tests does not really drive major product decision. These take sec these drive micro decisions that eventually lead up to like a bigger decision being made for the product, right? And the same is echoed by Kunal Shah from Grad, where he mentioned he posted a tweet where nobody changed the world by doing A/B testing, right? Because A/B tests are very specific, narrowed down for a particular goal or a particular metric to be achieved, and to test the hypothesis, right? So a lot of the hypothesis doesn't really the larger sets of questions that you are trying to solve will only come when talking to users and getting insights from online sources and talking to your customers, right? But with A/B testing, you can do part of the process. You can solve for part of the problem through A/B testing, but doesn't really solve for your, if you don't have, for example, core growth even coming, or some sort of traffic or engagement within the platform. You first have to fix that. Doing A/B testing for that from the get-go doesn't really help. So it's important to understand when to use A/B testing. It's after a period of time, once your product has actually hit PMF, is mature enough, and you're probably trying to improve uh, metrics that you're already tracking, right? So this is how and when you can use A/B testing, but don't really rely on it completely to drive the major product decisions or roadmap decisions for that matter, right? Use it as a tool where you can test your hypothesis, validate your scenarios, and make decisions on micro sections within the platform to drive any specific metric that you're tracking. Can be conversion rate, can be adoption, and can be other elements, engagement for that, like, right? So this is why and how you can use A/B testing. You also have a resource here from Amplitude, where, for example, using Amplitude Experiment, you can generate scenarios, look at data, and how that performed over a period of time, and also do the same when it comes to rolling out variant A and variant B for A/B testing, right? The control today is like this, but when you, based on your redesigns, you have come up with two options, and variant A is more focused on sharing capabilities, whereas other one is more engagement focused, right? So which should we prioritize? If you have more responses and more adoption using the engagement round, it might help you in discovery and word of mouth problem statistics, right? Whereas share focused is about inviting your friends, right? Encouragement, I explained it the other way around, where share focused is more around sharing your application and invites to other users and other contacts within your mobile and phone records, and inviting them and improving word of mouth, where engagement is more on the side of using the platform more, right? Engaging with it, and how they can look at details and statistics within the app, right, to feel good and keep using the application over a period of time. So these are sort of scenarios, a simple scenario here on when and how you can use A/B testing and tools like Amplitude, right? Mixpanel also gives you a similar I mean understanding, but I feel like, yeah, it's probably copy pasted into our article, but nonetheless, right? Mixpanel is another such great tool. You could also use things like Pendo, uh, another product onboarding, product analytics platform that do testing of A/B testing, and also product assistance and guidance and analytics uh, and metrics. So yeah, this is how can you try to narrow down to a segment, define a goal for your A/B test, build the scenarios, build the versions that you want to test, and the metrics that you eventually want to improve and look out for. Build those assumptions, have criteria of validation, actually do the A/B test over a large period of time, over a data set, iterate across them, and then look at the data, analyze that data, right? I mean, sift through all the data and then make decisions. But yeah, use it as a cautious tool to drive decisions and drive functionality within your product, and but always rely on the product roadmap and the customers and the users eventually, right? And talk to them to make a bigger decision, so on and so forth. But yeah, A/B testing is one such application and way for you to test, iterate, and improve your product. So yeah, that's been it about about A/B testing and how you can use that. I'll link this article on how A/B testing was done at the Duolingo application to drive growth within their application, right? So A/B test, for example, delayed sign up, where you could allow the user to just open the app and get started and delay the sign up to once, for example, a lesson is completed and things like that. So they had the question, they had the test, and the test was done. And once the test were done, this they introduced soft walls, right, where save progress and other details were added. So this is how you can use this A/B testing, like in the scenario of Duolingo, but also apply it within your application if you have multiple screens and want to track and grow a particular metric of your platform. But yeah, that's been it. Do check out these resources, which I'll link in the YouTube video description, and we'll get going from there. But yeah, this has been about A/B testing and how you can leverage that to improve and your product metrics and grow your product to the next level. But yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching this video. See you soon.